Here's to the whores of Sailor Town, the white, the black, the yellow and brown. Walk right in, lay your money down, and fuck the night away. There's Betty from Port Adelaide, the prettiest hooker I ever laid. She has a cunt that is snug enough and tits as big as the Sunday duff. There's a sing-song gal out in Hong Kong, takes every inch of my whopping dong. She knows her way around my cock from the hours we spent at Strop and Block. Here's to the whores of Sailor Town, the white, the black, the yellow and brown. Walk right in, lay your money down, and fuck the night away. In Dunkirk,
Yar, avastly. Yeah. Avast ye landlubbers. This is the Was That in Good Taste podcast with me, one of your hosts, Chandler Phillips.
And I, your scurvy matey, James Stephen Beary.
That be your first mate. This episode's a continuation of our last episode, just wrapping up what we were talking about over a summer, and my summer was... It could shiver me timbers. I had a pretty fucking piratey summer.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
It's the vibe I'm feeling. Oh,
it's because of COVID. A lot of things going on. A lot of stuff going on.
We got a lot of COVIDs. A lot of, the personal space has kind of been brought down, and you're not allowed to invade people's personal space, so...
Which is both annoying. It's not as hot as anymore. It's not as hot anymore.
Yeah.
You can't just get in people's faces anymore, touch them inappropriately without any, consent. Gosh.
They've really just taken the sex appeal out of casual, mundane interactions. I spent a lot of my summer on the lake drinking rum, vibing up piratey like a mofo. So to celebrate that vibe this episode, we got a little bit of, Ron del Barralito, 3-star Puerto Rican rum that we're tasting out today.
I like how we're tasting this. We don't have any cups or no shit.
No cups. We have just the flask.
Talk about COVID. Hold on.
Just the way they intended on the high seeds. You're gonna wait. You want to?
I have.
You want to try to find your own shot? No, you just lip it like you know how to like. You just take a little squinch.
I woke up a little sick this morning. I don't think you want it.
You just take some fucking lime and some rum, and you'll be solid.
Ooh, this rum is dark.
Yeah. So we got an añejo. I think it's... Honestly, I don't know the date, like the time amount on it. But
1870. Yeah, 1870.
It's a Puerto Rican rum. I know they recently got bought out by Bacardi, and so I don't even know if they'll still be around after this. But Ron del Barralito.
That's what we're doing.
Let's try this out. Ooh, all right. What kind of notes are you getting on the nose?
So I'm not a huge rum person.
You're not a yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum kind of bum?
So rum is made of what?
Sugar cane.
It's made of sugar cane, right? And I think that's the main reason. I find it to be very sweet, always a little sweet.
But isn't that the point?
Yes, this is definitely smoky.
You're getting a little bit of smoke to that.
Ethanol.
Oh yeah,
it's heavy with the ethanol.
That's the great thing about rum is they can get real fucking heavy there with the ethanol.
You know what proof this is? Probably not, right?
No. This one's in an unmarked bottle that says 200 milliliters, and it's filled up halfway.
So, yeah. This is heavy with the ethanol here. So, just in case you folks are, behind, we're having a rum that I can't remember the name of.
Ron del Barralito.
Of an age that I don't know.
Question mark.
Of a proof
Upside
that I'm
down
sure
question
of.
mark.
So, if you want to participate... pause here and go get drunk and then come back, and this will make sense.
All right. And pause. And cheers.
And cheers.
Arr. Arr.
You scurvy wenches. Red, yellow, and brown.
You landlubber.
Rawr.
Did you growl at the audience before we took this shot?
Ooh, it's sweet.
Oh, yeah. You definitely get that sugar cane coming through.
Ooh.
But it's got a bite.
Ooh, a little smoke. A little sweet. Oh, wow. It's saccharine. Ooh, I'm getting a lot of sweetness. Oh.
It tastes like leaving...
It's like candy.
Leaving a port with a ship full of papaya and mango, about to journey across a salty, smoky sea for about a month.
I'll be honest, to me it tastes like the rape of indigenous peoples.
Oh, well, it just so happens that I have a book here that talks about just those two things.
Rape and indigenous peoples?
Well, rape, indigenous peoples, and Atlantic trade.
Intra or inter?
Which one's the one that means, like, all about it?
Inter.
Okay, then that one. So...
I can't even... All right, come on, do it. Give it to us.
This is Chandler's Book Club episode.
Chandler's Book Club, episode 1.
I spent 4 months reading half a book, and
under half.
Fuck you, man! I made it a decent ways. Anyway, the book is called "Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean" by Edward Kritzler, and I got this book probably about a decade ago because I was some vaguely Jewish kid in high school who was like, hey, Jews, hey, Pirates of the Caribbean, I like those things. And so I finally got around to reading it. And, yo, this shit is wild.
Can I read you the description of this book?
Hit me with this.
In this lively debut history, that's the part I care about. It's all about an unlikely group of swashbuckling Jews who ransacked the high seas in the aftermath of the Spanish Inquisition. Swashbuckling
We
need to make it clear that I have a Jewish friend. His name is Chandler.
That's me.
And so the laughter that I'm having, envisioning, this is appropriate as we're recording this. A day and a half after Rosh Hashanah, and I just feel like I just can't. Swashbuckling.
I don't understand what the incongruency is. Like, you don't foresee me being a swashbuckling, deck swabbing.
Listen, I live in Brooklyn. I just imagine like these like very the Hasidic Jews living their lives just fucking with the locks, the forelocks, and fucking the suits just fucking swinging down from the fucking swinging down from the mast and shit like that.
I think that's fucking hilarious.
Instead of yard, it's like L'chaim.
Yo ho ho in a bottle of Manischewitz.
It's like, he's born. You gotta get him a hair there, Briss. Jeez, I can't. Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna plunder the booty, but then leave 10% for our agents, and
the rest we're gonna invest into reasonable markets.
You can't even make fun of Jews the way you really, really want to make fun of Jews.
What are you saying? What?
Like I have a feeling that
boy.
the real incongruency right now is the fact of you trying to think of a group of Jews who don't own immediate property. I think that's the hardest thing for you to try to grasp right now is like, wait a minute.
You're putting that on me. Okay. Young Jewish man, I have nothing to do with that. So tell me about this book, Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, so the way you described it, you'd assume it'd probably be like a narrative, right?
About Jews ransacking the first of all, I'm not just saying the Jews. That's how the book refers to them. Jews on pirate ships ransacking, stealing the gold and other things, not just gold.
So is this your summary of what you anticipate this book to be like? What is this book about to you based on the description so
there's
far?
a pirate, Captain Liam.
Captain Liam what? Come on.
A Jewish last name.
Rosenblatt? Come on.
And he's just, he's out there, and his ship, the Jewish gold,
The Moyle.
and they're out there, and it gets sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and he's in search of it, and in the process,
He's in search of a ship that has sunk.
his ship,
His ship.
in the bottom of Davy Jones's locker.
Okay.
And in the process, he's getting from the landlubbers their gold and their silver.
He's plundering.
And he's also plundering, their investments.
You don't
And
get
he's-
landlubbers gold
And
without
he's
a
also
little
taking
plunder.
over. He's also taking over, some of their small businesses, and kind of implanting him in some of his people.
Wait, so not only is he explicitly thieving their wealth, but he's also usurping their placement in the social economic sphere.
Yes, of course. And then somewhere there's another captain. It's the Germans. And the Germans are coming, and they want to stop this criminal.
Okay.
And so the Germans get together a group of their special people. There's a small group.
The assorted Confederation of German states plus Prussia
And then
finally
they come,
get together
and then they get
over
together,
the plight. Okay.
And these people, they're very concerned about their people. They're very, they're very sociable. Some could say they're socialists. They're. And I can't. And they fucking. They want to.
What? So you have these escapades between the great Rabbi Liam, Captain Rabbi Liam Rosenblatt, and
during Hanukkah, though, but over the 8 days of Hanukkah, and there's nothing to eat. Arr, we have no oranges. We only.
Yar, we have to make this citrus last 8 days.
We only have unleavened bread.
Oh, fuck. All right.
And then,
How does it end? How does this book end?
unfortunately, it ends with the Germans
Oh, no.
losing. That's what you expected. They lose. After, of course, exterminating, the majority.
A good amount. It's not necessarily that I'm used to the Germans losing. I'm used to the Jews not losing.
And then the Jews win.
What? No, what? The Jews are like the Minnesota Vikings. We don't ever win. We just do a little bit better each time.
Well, I don't know how many. Well, I can't say that.
Say it.
I'm just gonna say that all jokes. I feel like a book called Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. The title, this is probably a really reasonable book about I don't know, fucking some people who were Jewish at some period of time where there was moderate, not during the time of pirates, but during a time where there was still moderate pirating going on, and so they were on a boat, and then they did some pirating, but it's more complicated than that. Blah 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 blah, and it ended up. But they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with a fucking title like that. They know what they're fucking doing.
What are they doing?
They're just getting in your brain. Just like Jewish parts of the Caribbean. They know you're gonna imagine them fucking wielding fucking menorahs. Fucking menorahs.
Because you think Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean, you think Fiddler on the Roof, but it's Fiddler on the top mast.
If I was a pirate.
If I were a rich man, label, yiger.
Like, seriously, they're fucking, with gigantic menorahs fucking smashing people in the head and just being like...
wait, no, hold on. No, wait. Are you meaning to tell me that you think menorahs are some sort of weapon of warfare?
They could be.
Do you think... Wait...
Heavy and metal? And on
it's a
fire?
Candle holder.
And on fire?
How many times have you ever beat someone with a lamp?
Only twice.
All right. That's
okay. I just can't.
It only takes twice.
Listen, I really want to get to this book, but just like the title itself is like the majority of it is like Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right. The follow-up title, the semicolon to it is How a Generation of
Of what?
How a generation of swashbuckling Jews carved out an empire in the New World in their own quest for treasure and religious freedom and revenge.
It'd be nice if you said that into the mic.
Huh?
No, didn't hear anything you said.
Didn't hear any of that?
No.
Whack.
Take two. Yeah, no, we're fuck it. We're doing it live. Go ahead.
Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean. How a generation of swashbuckling Jews carved out an empire in the New World in their quest for treasure, religious freedom, and revenge.
Jewish word.
Wait, was that?
I was saying a Jewish word.
Oh, okay.
Just like to emphasize. Yiddish.
Oh. Like, I can't tell if that's if that's supposed to be like a card prompt. If I'm supposed to supply the Yiddish, then
I'm not gonna. I don't know. I just know that this book is ridiculous. So tell me about this.
So
since you read 1/3 of a book,
basically, what this book is about is there are a whole bunch of Jews and Muslims being rounded up during the Spanish Inquisition. And they were like, hey, either become Catholic or die or get the fuck out. And so a whole lot of them Jews were like, well, I guess we're getting the fuck out. And,
as the Jews are known to do.
Yeah.
Except for the ones that don't.
Except for the ones that don't. And then those ones are the real popular ones. So these ones... are known as Sephardic Jews. Here's a little quick background for you. During the Babylonian exile, when the Babylonians took over Israel and all that jazz, they kicked out all the Jews, and they went to either like Spain and Northern Africa and the Iberian Peninsula and all that stuff, or they went to Eastern Europe. And that's where they end up in like the Ukraine and Latvia and Lithuania and all that stuff. And so then you end up with either Sephardic or Ashkenazic Jews. That's actually
educational. That's good. I love that.
And so this book is talking about the Sephardic Jews that fled from Spain and Portugal during the Catholic Inquisition, and the ones who were rich enough to kind of gain court favor with the kings and stuff were like, hey, maybe we go set up a colony in the New World, How about that? We'll be out of Spain. We'll be out of your hair. We're not directly imposing your civilians, so we'll just be Jews elsewhere. And turns out Spain was like, nah, fuck you still. But Portugal was like, all right, man, as long as you keep it quiet, we're good.
That's actually really funny that Portugal was like that.
Right? And so, like, basically this book is just a lot of a historian going through all these records and seeing, okay, this one person who sailed with a Spanish exploration or some sort of Spanish expedition, they claimed he was Portuguese, but his lineage and stuff doesn't back up the fact that he's Portuguese. And so it kind of became like a dog whistle for the Spanish to call Jews Portuguese. Like in a sailing and nautical terms. And then just in that whole fakakta mishigas, Jews ended up kind of starting Jamaica as a major port city. So bing, bang, boom. We fled.
That's crazy fucking interesting.
Right? Like, I initially thought this book was going to be a fictitious story about, a bunch of Jews who were like, yeah, fuck the Spanish. We're going to be pirates. And instead, it's actually a historical account about how a bunch of Jews were like, well, shit, I'm sorry, Spain, but I guess I got to keep doing what I do.
Think about that. I think it's actually really funny because you said Portugal. Where's Portugal?
Oh, it's right next to Spain. It's like just kind of buddied up right there.
What happened to the Spaniards and the Portuguese? Where did they go? Across the ocean. What happened?
Oh, I'd say
where did they colonize?
They hit the Caribbean
Caribbean.
fucking hard.
They did, and they continued.
And then they went south.
They went south.
Then they went lower.
They went to a place, similar place to where, later in history, Nazis may have fled and set up, communities,
that
down in Europe.
Well, in Argentina or Brazil?
In Argentina, Brazil. And, yeah, and there's a lot of that going on down there. I just think that's very interesting.
Well, what interested me through the whole thing is I'm reading this as an Ashkenazi Jew learning about Sephardic Jews diaspora during the Age of Exploration. And so there's a little bit of identification, I guess. It'd be like, yeah, we were fucked on and then we did some fucking. But at the same time, some of these great Jewish captains and adventurers of the New World were slave traders.
Of course, that's
not
surprise.
That it's not surprising, but it kind of comes with the territory. But it's like, ooh, how much of this do I really want to identify with?
And that's the thing about, and I'm not trying to be funny. That's one of the things about being a white person, in America, is that most likely your ancestors in some form or fashion traded in humans, and not just Africans, but other Europeans, Spaniards, Africans, Asians. A lot of Africans.
The Dutch.
So I think that's definitely something, but it's very hard to traffic people who look like you or close to looking like you. It's very difficult.
Well, that's why us Jews took so much time and consideration to try to drastically change our physical appearance, is so that, when we do involve ourselves in these kinds of enterprises, it's so we can create that separation, right? We may have, these long, crooked noses, but it makes us feel better that, at least we're not black.
No, this is very interesting. I think it's very interesting because, we had conversations before about how people of color, black people especially, have a lot of anti-Semitism, and you would think that of any communities, those two might get along, but it really seems like, at least in New York and in my experience in America, that the Jewish population in America and the black community in America don't really seem to get along so much as they...
That's, yeah.
You know, and is this...
So, as much as you think, like, both Jews and black Americans would be on the same side of, like, the minority spectrum...
No.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't, and it's very kind of confusing. And I think that's very interesting about hearing about these tales about these Jews fleeing this persecution and like taking agency and like getting these ships. And of course, I mean, history, obviously if they're pirates, there's raping and pillaging and thieving and trading in people, because what made pirates wasn't really Pirates of the Caribbean just running around being ridiculous. It was slave trading.
It was commandeering ships. It was straight up carjacking.
Yep.
But on it was the grandest theft auto. But like it's weird going from a point of I guess where you see a point in history where like you see these royal or just super elitist families that completely have to change lanes because of some sort of new religious doctrine. And I guess that's been part of the black experience the entire time.
Yes.
It's just, for Jews, it's like you're able to assimilate up to whatever point in time. And then as soon as you finally feel like you're assimilated, there's a new code of rules. And so, whereas one culture, kind of refuses or not necessarily refuses the assimilation, but sees the assimilation as a form of oppressment, while one sees it a form of liberation. And I think that's interesting.
So you actually read the book? Like a third of it?
I've read a decent amount of the book. I skimmed through it. I take a long time to read. I really dig in for
So is
content.
there anything from the book, this is Chandler's Book Club, that stood out to you?
All right. The main thing that stood out for me was the story of Captain Samuel Planche, or I guess it's Palanche. Like,
Jew it up a little bit. Jew it up. I don't know. Put an accent on it.
But that's the thing though. Like, I don't know what accent he would have on it, because he's a native Moroccan, home of the Moors.
Wait a minute! I just realized on these pirate boats, would it be a mixture of Jews and Muslims?
Yeah. Wait. What?
Hold on. Jews that probably prayed 3 times a day?
I don't fucking know.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
If that's
Jews that probably pray 3 times a day. Almost like the Muslims. Now, yes, they're Shia and Sunnis. One of them pray 5 times a day. The other prays 3 because they combine the 2 in the morning, the 2 at night into the same prayer. It's almost as if these religions have very similar bases and are very close. It's almost as if they're family. Almost as if they were. So
I'll stop you. I'll just a quick timeout, just because this particular captain, adventurer, philanderer, he lived in Morocco pre-Arabic conquest of Northern Africa.
It wasn't conquest. Just saying, it wasn't conquest.
It wasn't
It wasn't conquest. Just it was peaceful. Just because the Arabs were just chilling. It's like, oh, we're all smart and shit. And people were like, oh, fuck, this is awesome. And then it's just like, yeah. And then it just took over.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Pre-Arab
expansion.
That's the word. Into Morocco. There is a single Jew by the name
a lone Jew.
How
do you say one in fucking Hebrew? I don't know.
I don't fucking know, man.
Hebrew Jew.
Just un.
I'm gonna substitute. I'm not gonna edit that in to the correct, into the correct phrase here. Jew.
Anyway, I'm gonna say it as New York Jewy as I can say it. Samuel Planche. And is from Morocco. They got conquered by one of the European nations. I think it was Spain. Yeah, Morocco conquered by Spain. He's just living, and then Spain has their whole Inquisition thing, and he's like, well, fuck, I need to get the fuck out. And so he starts talking to one of the other Jewish captains of one of the Turkish fleets. And he's talking to them for a little bit, and then he sails and goes to the Netherlands and starts talking to the Dutch king for a little bit. And so this dude starts brokering both a peace agreement, a treaty, trade agreements, and all this shit between the Netherlands and pretty much the dominating Arab empire at this point, because I'm pretty sure it's based in Turkey, and in this point in time, I'm drawing a blank.
Seems very likely, yeah.
So he's brokering these trade agreements between these two countries, and Spain, being the major Catholic powerhouse of this time, is just not liking any of this. And I think this is Charles the something, one of the Charlemagne descendants, and he's getting bitter, and he starts doing these the Spanish Inquisitions, and it's just pissing off the Jewish population more because, on top of just because if you're the king of Spain at any given time, and in the Middle Ages, and you do a Spanish Inquisition, it's mainly to just whip and shape your working class.
Of course,
your working class.
Yeah. It's like, oh, be afraid for 6 months. We're gonna come for you. We're gonna get you.
Yeah, 6 months, 5 years.
Yeah, whatever. Know, it's like, oh, yeah. It's like, oh, hey, how you doing?
Hey,
are you paying your taxes? Oh. You're Catholic.
Ooh,
oh, whoa.
Good for you.
Oh, you're not paying your taxes?
Hey, are you Catholic? Are you sure about that?
You sure about No, I don't know. I was at Mass every time last year. Don't believe ya.
Maybe you should get your femurs drilled through. I don't know. But so they do this shit where they're straight up torturing just Jewish civilians. Jewish and Arab civilians in Spain. You got this one guy, Samuel Planche, who's now brokering trade agreements between the two other European powerhouses at the time, which is the Ottomans in Turkey and the, I guess, Protestants in the Netherlands. And so he's just going back and forth, just making him money left and right. And then all of a sudden he's like, we should make some sort of war treaty in this too. And so then he gets government backing to start plundering Spanish ships.
All right.
So, all right, picture this.
I'm imagining. I'm picturing.
You're imagining.
I'm visioning.
Imagine you're a black man in New York. And all of a sudden, Cuomo is just like, hey, you see those police officers? I don't give a fuck if you take whatever you can off of them. Just, it's not my problem. And so wouldn't for a second you'd think, I bet I could steal that cop's gun.
I was like, fuck it. I mean, I'm not trying to say I've thought about it, but I've seen the cops and was like, oh, their gun is next. I bet you I could unclip that.
Because, like, Spain's the authority in the water. But everywhere else, it's like, man, fuck Spain. And so now you got this one captain who's out here just making bank. And he goes back to Netherlands after the whole thing's done. Like, he makes his big score, he makes his money, all of that. And he sets up a fucking temple in a whole, like, constituency. And he sets up an entire, like, sect of the Netherlands that are Orthodox Jews. And then they start fucking everything up. That's basically it. It's like the entire book is, all right, so these Jews were persecuted. They found routes around their persecution, and then they tried to eventually settle, and then the elitists within those realms start fucking everything up for the people who initially started those in the beginning.
Is there still like a population in the Netherlands of Orthodox Jews?
I'm sure there are. I don't know for certain, but I feel like this is something that's reflected in just all kinds of immigration. Or, I mean, especially in Jewish immigration. We've talked at length before about the Hasidic division between the populace
many
in Brooklyn.
Times. Yes.
Like, it just seems interesting how, as a group, we'll be persecuted so heavily, and then as soon as we establish a base, there's the immediate reprieve of, like, all right, finally, we've got our sense of self, we've got our home base, we can start establishing a base camp, and then elitism builds out of that.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that, but it is what it is. It's kind of cyclical. They always say that about history, about how cyclical history is.
Do you think that's just a problem with the human experience, or do you think that's a problem with the fact that Jewish doctrine tends to elevate, I guess, the ego over others? I mean,
this is very complicated because, so you look at people who say things like, we try to be funny, but to be a little serious here. Like, people say like, oh, Islam is an inherently violent religion, which is not true. However, if you look at different religious doctrines, they have different tones and different things, And so you look at people who really are religious and who really, they look to the Old Testament. They have different values and behave differently than people with the New Testament, and et cetera, et cetera. So especially when it comes to people who are highly religious, you do end up with, kind of, not just, I wouldn't say learned behaviors, but social conditioning that, perhaps over time will, like, if your religion has some violent things in it that are key tenets or key parts of the story, you might be a little bit more violent. If the Torah has things in it that talk about you elevating yourself and your family and you above this or that, then maybe you carry that into your personal, even if you're not religious. Because even if you're not religious, because like the Quran, literally, Allah is like, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful. The entirety of the Quran is be peaceful, be peaceful. But Muhammad, who is the final true prophet of Allah, was literally in Mecca, and then they cast him out, and he killed all the Jews and went back and razed it to the ground and taken over as himself. And that can influence not all Muslims, but enough.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how these things go. So maybe the reason why the Jews have this kind of cycle of like, the Jews can be extremely persecuted because there are aspects of their personalities that they've taken from the religious doctrine that allow them to be taken advantage of. But then also, when they're put into positions or given an opportunity, they take advantage of it because also, the religious doctrine just allows them to do that. But, it's interesting, especially in America where you have a lot of a-religious Jews.
Right.
But even if you're a-religious, you're still directly affected by the effects of the religious doctrine on your parents and your family.
And on the image itself.
And just the image. So, like, I
mean, that's a poignant observation in just like, yeah, I'd like to be able to support Israel based on religious doctrine and based on the fact that, hey, I feel like we have some sort of historical claim to the land, but on a human rights aspect, fuck, man.
Yeah, but we talk a lot about inherent trauma, right? But here's the thing: there's like inherent trauma, and it's the same systemic like racism. It's like the opposite. So you have inherent trauma, but there are benefits to having a cultural identity. And
so
the cultural identity,
in a sense, what is it? Historic trauma helps consolidate some sort of
totally. I think
cultural identity.
The Holocaust is an absolutely terrible thing. There is no joke about the Holocaust. We make light about a lot of things and like, oh man, yeah, the Holocaust is not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, millions and millions of people were murdered, really for no fucking reason. Not because guess what? People did they even really believe the Jews needed to die? Probably not, actually, it turns out. It turns out they probably just killed the Jews because it was like a good political position that would like help them. Like think about how garbage and terrible that is.
Here's a hot take that I just thought of. If the U.S. hadn't won, or I guess, sorry, if the Allies hadn't won World War II, the Holocaust would have been, or wouldn't have been in vain.
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird-ass take. But I guess that's the whole plot of the Man in the High Tower series, is just, had the U.S. and Britain and Russia not won World War II, the Holocaust wouldn't have been thought of as a global tragedy. It would have been just like, well, yep, that happened.
Yep. But we don't live in the Man in the High Tower, and as such, these things happen. But think about the people who survived that. The people who survived that have not only their religious doctrine to lean on, and there's a lot of trauma, but it's a very different trauma than slavery. And this is why I think that sometimes there's like a thing between people of color and like the Jewish community, is because it's not the same. It seems the same and it feels the same as a person, but it's not the same. Having everybody and generations of people eliminated over the course of a few years versus like a few hundred years of of like servitude feel the same, but they're very different. And the way that is going to affect you and your children, it's going to be very different. And I'm just going to say, if everybody I know was murdered going back 3 generations and I came to another country, I might fucking be real motivated to make something for myself. that's very different than having everyone that you can't even think about have been in servitude up until 60 years ago in some form or fashion. It's very different. It's very, very different.
It's really comparing mandarins to tangerines.
I feel that.
I mean, it's not as far off as apples to oranges.
Yeah,
but
it's different, and it's different enough that the people who are involved are going to be affected in different ways. It's just unfortunate. That's just how it's going to be. And that's why I think the anti-Semitism in the black community kind of needs to stop. Because, if anything, we really should be closer. But also, one of the reasons why black people don't like Jews is because Jews aren't Christian. And blacks have their random Christianity that was forced on them by their slave owners. But blacks sure as fuck do love their Christianity.
That's an interesting aspect.
They do, though. The blacks love their Christianity. Love it. Love that shit.
That's true. Y'all love Jesus.
Love the Lord. Mm-hmm. But not just any Lord. The Lord that the white man gave us. The way that they gave it to us.
Yeah, the white Jesus. I don't understand why y'all like him so much.
I don't either.
He hasn't done shit for y'all.
He just hasn't. I just don't understand.
He hasn't done shit for us either, but
know.
he especially hasn't done shit for y'all.
And I think that a lot of people look at these situations. You see these stories about these people who fled, and they went out into the world, and they somehow made these things happen. But there's one difference. Spanish, the Jews, the people from Caucasus, and fucking the Germans, they all mostly look alike. Different shades of color, maybe a little bit, but people who are black look so distinctly different.
Well,
in the color of their skin.
It's like Spanish Jews could pass as Portugals because they just had an accent.
100%.
And that's it.
You can get rid of accents. You can change the language. You can change the way you work. You can cut. Even if your hair was kinky, you could cut it off.
And just go bald.
But you cannot change really the color of your skin. And that's why it's very, very, very different in some ways. But it does not diminish. Because there's nothing that could diminish the Holocaust. There's nothing that could diminish the fucking generations of torture that Jews have gone through.
I mean, except for, the people who deny it.
They can try.
And try to rewrite history. There's nothing that can diminish.
Can we just talk about Holocaust deniers? I saw, first of all, it's dumb because they only really asked 2,000 people. But I saw an article that was from the Wall Street Journal. I think it was. I'm just saying. I don't fucking know who it was. It was a newspaper. It was a large newspaper. It was like 1/3 of adult Americans don't know about the Holocaust. And here's the thing: is that I don't believe in the statistics are crazy. But even so, even if they asked only 2,000 people, even if it was 1,000,
you think
even if it was 500. How is the third of them don't know about the Holocaust?
I'm thinking at least one half of the third that they are accounting for of the people who don't know about the Holocaust just had an earphone in or something and were like, I'm sorry, what? And they were just never mind, sorry. It's
it's impossible for people to not understand that. I don't believe that at all. It's ridiculous. But it's getting, but sometimes I feel it because I don't know. People don't know shit about history, but people who know about the Holocaust, how do you deny the mass murder of millions of people?
Well, and people who know about history, it's such a ubiquitous concept. It's everything that happens in real time is directly affected by the entirety of our history. And so if we don't, I don't know, that's why I tend to value it higher than, I guess, most people. Like I value history as a resource, but like knowing that every single one of our contemporary decisions is dictated by our history is all the more reason to want to know as much about the nuances of it.
But like, nobody's out here denying. Like, literally, people will say stuff like, "Man, fucking Genghis Khan went across and fucking raped and murdered everyone." But like, yeah, man, the Holocaust. What? Not even a whole 60 years ago? Maybe like fucking people were murdered en masse? And there's like video of it because we did an age of the world. Video existed.
Hey,
video existed during the Holocaust and of the Holocaust.
I'll make you feel real old real quick. I was in, I'd say, like the last closing videos of the Holocaust were probably in 47.
Yeah.
It's 2020, dude.
Wow. That's a long fucking time ago.
Yeah. That's damn near a lifetime.
But not completely, because I saw a thing on Reddit that was like Anne Frank and Martin Luther King were only a few years apart in age.
Yeah.
They'd both be about 91 right now.
Yeah, how many 91-year-olds do you know?
2.
Really?
Yeah. 93 and 90, I think. And I'm not saying that it's like, but that's not a million years ago.
It's not a million years
It's
ago.
not even hundreds of years ago. It's not even 100 years ago.
The rate at which culture is refreshed and revised, and the rate at which history is refreshed and revised, like, fuck, man, that's a lifetime ago. Do we even have anyone who?
Fuck it, bud. 5 million people. All right, fuck it then.
5 million people?
People who still 5 million people, but lots of people who are still alive who still have fucking stamps on their arms because they were little kids when it happened. It's not like, you know what I mean? Come on.
Give it a couple more years.
People don't even know that some of these kids who were born in like 2003 don't know about 9/11.
Yeah.
I took an amazing young child to the World Trade Center. And he said to me very loudly, "Oh, I know about this. These buildings fell down." And Ray Loudly was just saying some stuff that just had me like, "Oh no, please stop saying this in the middle of Manhattan."
Wait, what other stuff was he saying? I'm curious.
He was just going on. Listen, okay. Anyway, I feel like that's a different episode.
No, I want to know what this youth has to say about.
Can you just imagine that something like really dramatic like that happens, but you've never really heard about it or saw about it, seen it, but the only thing you know about it is memes on TikTok?
Fuck.
The only thing you know about it is like fucking jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. That's the only thing that you know about something like that.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, I know that Istanbul is Constantinople now. That Istanbul is Constantinople now. Istanbul. That's probably the most abrupt change in human history.
Yeah. Welcome to the fucking world, bud.
Fuck.
Well, how come I didn't realize, even if you start the podcast, I always end it. You should fucking end it.
All right.
But you're garbage. So anyway.
I don't like to end things.
I know you don't.
I like to continue things.
This has been an awesome episode of what? I forget the name of the podcast.
What?
I'm tired.
Was that in good taste?
Was that in good taste? I already got the episode title.
Huh?
Chandler's Book Club.
Chandler's Book Club.
Part 1.
Pew, 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 pew.
Or episode 1.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of fuck.
And stuff. Yes. Art of Giving Up Podcast gmail.com. Oh no, I forgot the name of my name on Twitter. That's not my name on Twitter anymore.
The Art of Giving Up?
No, that's not it anymore.
What?
It's That Funny Friend.
Oh.
At That Funny Friend. Also, humblebumblebear.com.
Oh no, I changed it actually.
Don't fucking do that, because the people will listen to one episode and they're like, oh, it doesn't work.
Oh, fuck up.
Well, what is it now?
It's Bumblebear at .squarespace.
Oh, you didn't fucking refresh your fucking domain name or some shit.
Well, okay, so it was on WordPress, and now I moved to Squarespace because I just liked the convenience of it all.
But then you have to pay for another domain, like another.
No, so I just let go of the.
You could have transferred your domain because you still have the domain name. So Humble Bumble Bear still works.
Huh?
HumbleBumbleBear.com still works.
What? Since when?
So just fucking
just transfer
import it. You can do that.
You can do that?
Anyway, yeah. This is what's that in good taste. And yeah,
follow me on C__honey.
This guy's
at
Chandler.
Instagram.
He's garbage. And yeah,
watch me make beer.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So if you really want to make a lot of money, okay, this is what you gotta do, right?
Shit. Hold on. I need to listen.
Take your friend. Right, who's Jewish.
Oh fuck.
Get him to read a book.
Oh no.
Okay, right. And then wait for it.